and to clarify some of their concerns.
So the second constituency I want to ask about, a second group, put another way, are your House colleagues, Republicans to be specific. What kind tell me a bit about the conversations you were in. I know they were trying to hold all the Republicans in lockstep to vote against it. So tell me the kind of lobbying that you were engaged in during the process of making your decision by Republicans in the House.
Well, the members in the House, the members of the Republican Party, they all understand where my duty lies, because they themselves, they have to represent their constituents. So they fully understand that the first priority of a U.S. representative is to represent the needs of their constituents. And then if the vote happens to correspond to the Republican Party, is fine. If not, then that's okay too. So I did not receive a lot of, opposition from the Republican members, because we all understand that at one point or another, each one of us will have to make a hard choice.
I don't know. I hear your point loud and clear, and I accept that. I don't know how much media you're paying attention to, but there are a lot of conservatives, a lot of Republicans, a lot of right-wingers in the media who are not being as kind to you, apparently, as your House colleagues were. You're aware of that, sir?
No, even though I've been informed by my staff that some of the criticism have been quite brutal, but you know, it goes with the job, and my constituents chose me to represent their needs, and that's what I'm trying to do the best that I can.
So the pushback you're getting from the conservative media doesn't make you at all rethink the vote that you made?
Oh, no. If I have to do it again, I would do the same thing.
Fair enough. The last group I want to ask you about, the last group is really an individual. So what kind of conversations, if any, did you have at the White House, the Obama White House, about your pending vote?
When I spoke with the president around noontime on Saturday, I told him specifically that I'm open to supporting the health care reform bill as long as the Stupak-Pitts amendment were to pass the House. And obviously we were working very hard to make sure that the amendment would pass. In speaking to the president, we have always had a very friendly relationship, and I conveyed to him some of the needs of the district, some of the concerns that I have, some of the concerns that many of my constituents were conveying that we need to have addressed. For example, community disaster loans, our FMAP problem, the issue with charity at Methodist Hospital. So I convey those concerns to the president, and I basically encourage him to continue working with us to help this area rebuild. He and his administration, they have done a tremendous job in working with us to address many of our needs down here.
Since we're talking about the president in New Orleans and you're being the representative of that area, what did you have to say? What were your thoughts then, if you had them? I assume you did, about the controversy the president found himself in some weeks ago, going to New Orleans, touching down for a few hours and leaving again, and taking 9 or 10 months to get to New Orleans in the first place. Did you have thoughts about that controversy then?
Well, for me, and my constituents, many of them, they were disappointed that the president did not spend a long enough time down here in New Orleans and in the surrounding areas. But for me, it's not so important of the length of time that the president spent down here. It's how well we have been working administration to address all the needs that we have. And as I've said already, in the past 8 or 9 months, we have worked extremely well together. Secretary Napolitano and I, we have worked very hard to push out over $1 billion in recovery money through FEMA to help municipalities, organizations to rebuild infrastructure, to improve health care, to rebuild schools. So it's not the length of time that the president spent down here that was important to me, but how well we have worked together in the last several months.
Finally, where do you think this healthcare debate is headed? We all know the Senate has to do its thing now. We know that the Senate is going to be a tougher fight than the House, we're told. We know there's a conference committee that's going to come eventually, whatever the Senate finally passes. Where do you think this is going to go, and do you think in the end that your vote and the criticism that you've taken forecasting it will have been worth it where health care is concerned?
I really don't know what will happen in the Senate. I don't know I'm not familiar with the dynamics and the different forces that are working in the Senate. I hope that whatever reform bill that comes out of the Senate will be a responsible bill, will have a strong language prohibiting federal funding of abortion. So I am very hopeful that a reform bill will get out of the Senate, but I also hope that it will be a responsible bill, a bill that will address the needs of the country, that will address the different issues that we have to tackle in reforming this healthcare system, because it is a very complex question, but it's a question that we have to answer, that we have to tackle, and I hope that we will do it responsibly.
Congressman Joseph Gow out of Louisiana, specifically the New Orleans area, the only Republican member in the House to vote for the health care bill that passed here just days ago. Congressman Gow, nice to have you on the program. Thanks for sharing your insights with us, sir.
Thank you very much.
Up next,